For 10 years, I've been shooting with the Canon 200D. For a beginner camera, or for a beginner, this camera is absolutely perfect. It shoots 1080p Full HD at 60 frames a second, 24 megapixel camera, and it just works. It's very lightweight, works really well with DJI gimbals or any other gimbal. Obviously, it's not your 100,000 rand camera. There's so many good things about this camera. And when I initially was scouting for cameras for my very first camera, I wasn't too sure if photography or videography is going to be my thing. And I looked around and I said, well, for my budget and not wanting to buy something really expensive and waste my money because I'm not into it. So that being said, I still looked for something that is fairly decent within the price range, and the Canon 200D stood out to me. And ever since, I've been using it through everything I do. I mainly shoot with a 50mm f1.8. It is obviously a crop sensor, so it's about a 75mm total, including the crop. However, if you are looking to buy your very first camera, learn from other people's, I wouldn't say mistakes, but learn from the experience. So that being said, I would not buy this as my first camera, knowing what I know now. This past weekend, I actually had the awesome opportunity to shoot with the Canon R50V. In partnership with Canon, they lent me the R50V and some lenses. They gave me the 45mm f1.2 lens to shoot with. This thing is absolutely brilliant. The low aperture works so well at low light, and me shooting with a 50mm with my 200D, it was almost a no-brainer to just go ahead and shoot with something similar, maybe another 50mm. A 50mm is a focal range that people see, like your eyes sees at about 50mm. Obviously, your eyes are much more advanced and low light capable. At the end of the day, that is what you see. So if you see something really cool on social media, or a cool picture or cool video, it's most likely shot in 50mm. Obviously, people shoot in various ranges, but that is what you see. So you are actually more prone to, what's the word? My English has left me. Google. With the 50mm, because it's more or less what we see as human beings, that is more relatable. So that is why it catches your eye even more. So the 45mm does a really good job at capturing that. In daylight, it is absolutely beautiful, beautiful bokeh at the back. Because it is a prime, it is very crisp. I think this is probably one of my favorite lenses. Also not that expensive. From what I saw, it's about 10,000 rand. It does come with a little lens hood for solar flares and so on. I would suggest maybe buy bigger diameter lens filters, so that if you buy more lenses or different lenses, you don't have to keep purchasing these filters. Obviously, the sellers won't complain, but that is a very big thing to note. Let's go on and speak about the R50V. So I'll show you guys some videos that I have taken over the weekend at Idle Expo, as well as some pictures. I did not have the time to do a comparison between, like, taking the same shots between the 200D and R50V. However, I will show you some pictures and videos I have taken before on the 200D. So my first impressions of the R50V, obviously coming from a 200D, listen, I have shot with an R7 before, and it is about 32 around there for the body alone. Maybe on discount or specials like Black Friday or the Red Hot sale, you'll probably be spending about 25 more or less. That camera alone is amazing. You have 4K 60, obviously it is a crop sensor, it is mirrorless, but it's still a crop. And then you have absolutely beautiful pictures. I think it's about 28 or 30 megapixel camera, but it is heavy, and to carry that around as a main, it's doable definitely. But for me, I think something smaller always works better, especially like shooting 3 days back to back from early in the morning till late afternoon. It starts getting heavy. You start wanting to not shoot, take a lot of breaks, because it carrying the gimbal, that if you only carry the gimbal, you get rigs and everything, so the weight adds up overall. That is what makes the R50V very, very good. It is very light, very compact. It is the Canon version of the Sony FX30, which is a video first camera, where the Sony FX series is basically video only. You can only shoot video, where this also has photo capabilities. It is still a 24 megapixel. It does have 10-bit recording, which is super great. If you do use the free version of DaVinci Resolve, there is an app or a software you can download that you can convert your 10-bit to a usable 10-bit. It keeps the quality and everything virtually the same. That is an option. Otherwise, shoot in 8-bit. So comparing the R50V versus the 200D, what I have found very helpful is shooting in 4K. Because the 200D can only shoot 1080p 60 frames a second, where this can shoot 1080p at 120 as well as 60 frames a second. It also shoots 4K 30 frames a second, as well as a 4K crop at 60 frames a second. The nice thing about shooting in 4K is when you go into your video editor, whether it's DaVinci, CapCut, Adobe Premiere Pro, it allows you to stabilize the footage or do whatever transformations you want to do, zoom ins. It ends up reducing the quality when you do that regardless. So shooting in 1080p and you do all these things to it, you end up with a very poor quality 1080p and a good quality 720. And yes, most social media platforms doesn't really support 4K. You can always export the video in 1080p, but then you retain that high quality 1080p, because essentially you downscale from 4K when you crop and you stabilize the footage and so on. So that is a very important thing that I found very useful and makes the biggest difference. If you shoot correctly and you plan your shots with the 4K, you can literally take that landscape and then just crop it to portrait and maybe just hit some key points, follow your subject around. So yet again, you keep the quality of the video and you have a really good quality 1080p video when you export. Even if you shoot at a high frame rate, you just export in 30 fps. It works the same whether you have 1080p where you cropped in or you have 4K cropped in. It does lower the quality no matter what camera, at least from my experience. The nice thing I found about this camera, obviously its size and weight. Having it on a gimbal, especially like the RS3 Mini, you can add a really big zoom lens or really big prime lens, heavy lenses, and it can handle it with ease. Easy to stabilize and easy to work with. Where if you shoot with, let's say, an R7, yes, it can handle the weight, but it's going to struggle. Certain things will work, but certain things will not be the best. You'll feel it start slightly vibrating, starting to struggle slightly, even if you adjust the motor settings and all those things. So it is quite nice. Obviously, if you can get, on a different note, if you can get a DJI, go for the Pro or the bigger ones. So back to the R50V. I did, however, I'm currently shooting on it right now. So the whatever quality you see now, this is the R50V. The reason why I'm shooting with that specifically right now is because obviously low light conditions, but I actually wanted to show you how well this camera films. There is some light that is still blocked off. I've got a few lights here and here in front of me. As you can see, it's still really good, a low light capability. I shot at about 1600 around there. It had some slight noise. Also bumped the ISO up to 3200. The nice thing is it's still usable. You just hit a little bit of noise reduction, like maybe 5 to 10%. Like I'll show you guys now. It is really not bad at all. I did shoot with the kit lens, which is a 14 to 30 RF lens. It has the auto zoom capability where with the camera it zooms in when you hold the trigger or you just turn and let go and it auto zooms, which is really cool. It is a really good starter. I think especially having a 14 on there, quite wide, I think it helps with a lot of situations. Obviously, if we had a lower f-stop, I think that would be brilliant. And that is why I'm currently shooting on a 16 to 28mm f2.8. So let me show you guys over here. So this is 16 and then we have 28mm f2.8, shooting at 1/30 at 100 ISO. I really enjoy this camera. I think if you are looking at an upgrade, definitely mirrorless, definitely look at the R50V. It has so many awesome options and features built into it because it's video first. It has all the zebras, it's got false color, your highlights, your graphs, everything you get out of a really high-end video camera. I have plugged all that or most of that into this camera. So if you're video first, or at least looking to start off with doing videography, I think this one is a no-brainer. For the price point, I think it's about 15-16 body alone, where 200D, it is a very good choice. However, it is quite old. It is about 10 around there with a kit lens. So save up that little bit more and buy the R50V. And the nice thing, like I mentioned previously, is it can take pictures as well. It shoots, I think, on depending obviously on your SD card, your SD card speed. If let's say with a moderate SD card speed, you can get about 10 to 15 frames a second on the electronic shutter, where the 200D is like 3 to 5 frames a second. And it has car tracking. You know how helpful that was this weekend. The nice thing about the newer cameras, it's got AI incorporated in some of the components in the camera. So it's got an AI servo focus, and it uses AI to help track your subjects. So you can track people, you can track animals, you can track cars, and I think one or two more things. The autofocus is really fast. You can also adjust the speed of when and how fast the focus moves or transitions or initializes, which is really cool. It makes a very big difference in focusing. And the other cool thing is you can actually take a picture of a person, and in your settings menu you can allocate one of 10 slots to that specific person or to any person you take a picture of, and you can have and set priority to those people. So whether you're in a crowd or shooting an event, like for example, you go to a wedding, you take a quick picture of the bride, the groom, and save it as priority. So whenever you shoot, there's people in the way or crowded scenario, the camera uses the AI to detect those people and then have autofocus priority on them. Like I said previously, even if you're already in the industry, you already have decent camera gear, you could have something like this on the go, even if you just want an extra camera just to filming an automotive event and filming cars and people and interactions, or just to shoot video only. There is a step up to this camera. So after this, I would say you would get the R7. The R7 came out 2021, 2022, around there. With this one, I think came out a year or 2 years ago. Then you do get the R6. I think there's a Mark II out at the moment. And then after those two cameras, you get the R6V. So it's basically video first. It's the same style and overall look and frame as this. However, it is a full frame camera. It's got 7K video and dual SD card slots. So that is the big brother of the R50V. However, the big brother comes with a big brother price. So the price for the R6V body alone is about 49,000, call it 50,000. Then with the kit lens, it is about, I think it was what, 60 or 70K. So it is pricey, and comparing the two, I would go R50V, buy some lenses like 45mm or even the 16 to 28mm, or both, because both I think is around 10,000. So that's 20,000 plus the body, 15. So you spend roughly half the price and you get something that is very, very good. I don't know if you guys can see. This is the LP17 battery that you get in the Canon 200D. If you have a 200D, you have batteries for the R50V. Battery life on this camera, I shot about 3 batteries for a whole day. Let's say arrived there at around 10 o'clock, and then I shot throughout the day and left at 9 at night. So roughly 2 hours per battery while shooting 4K 30 FPS. I did have about half a battery to a quarter left, where 4K 60 it was, so all 3 I shot completely dead. You can average it at about 2 hours per battery when shooting really any 4K. Obviously when you shoot 1080p 120 and 60, you'll have a bit more battery, but from my personal experience over the weekend, 4K 30 as well as 4K 60, roughly 2 hours, so I used 3 batteries. So go out for the day. If you have 3 batteries, they aren't that expensive either. 3 batteries, grab yourself a nice 45mm prime lens, f1.2, you get yourself a nice wide. If you're shooting quite a distance, then obviously get a zoom, but I think those 2 things, if you're going out for events, especially automotive photography, those 2 lenses, 3 batteries, a gimbal, DJI microphones, you sorted. If you have those things, you can essentially make movies. So yes, that is my review and my personal experience from shooting the R50V. I think let's get into the videos. I'll show you guys some 4K 30, I'll show you guys some 4K 60 with crop. I did not shoot 1080p whatsoever. All of the content is in C-Log 3. I will similarly just use some of my other content that I have taken on my 200D and then just compare the two. Obviously the R50V is going to blow it out of the water, but just as a rough estimate to see what one is working with. That is my experience that I shot with on the R50V this weekend, and hope you guys like the video. If you do, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more content. You'll see a lot of videos of almost anything you can think of automotive related, whether it's events, drag racing, feature films. I'm planning on doing more reviews. I'm planning on doing more edit tutorials. So if you guys like seeing those type of things, and if you want to see more specific kind of things, let me know down in the comments below. Share this to a friend. Tell them they need an R50V in their life.